and good evening to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. Raph streaming to you live, high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight we are doing another AI After Dark. So I'll be getting to some creation, trying to pick up where we left off with our character Mirabelle, and also looking at creating. I'll probably, because I'm pretty scatterbrained, switch focus onto the topic at hand, but I found some pretty good images that I'd like the community to help me vote on. Like I said last time, I'd like the community to be a big part of this. So here I am on screen just doing some level ups right now. And I have Stable Diffusion up as well. Had it up earlier today, was doing quite a bit of scene work for Neindorf, and it crashed at some point today, and unfortunately I kind of lost my work. But I really like how Stable Diffusion keeps all of the images that you generate. It is a bit of a memory hog, but I like that because you never know what you want to build off of, and so that feature is pretty useful. But while I'm kind of blabbering away here, let's do a quick DeFi Kingdoms update. What I'm doing here is I'm doing the level ups, and my strategy, I purchased quite a few level like 13 and 14 heroes, 12, some 11s, 12s, and what I'm doing is start summoning them together and then leveling up the offspring. And I only bought heroes that were about ready to level. So each of the heroes I bought, I got one level since they were leveling up, and then I smashed them together. And then I got all, if it's a level 13, all of those levels for the offspring. And then you can smash the offspring with another offspring group together. So this has been my strategy for the level up game because it's been fun, and I want amulets. I don't think I got any. I'm 90% sure I didn't get an amulet the first time around. Back then you had to be holding a significant amount of X Jewel that was far beyond the coffers that I had in X Jewel at that point in time. So no winning for the Raph here. So let's jump over into Stable Diffusion now, and we'll come back and complete that level up here in a little bit. And I'm going to bring some images in. So one of the things that I like here is the PNG info tab. If you take an image that you created from Stable Diffusion, it gives you all of the props that you used. Now here you'll see that I have a very long not safe for work prompt, because I don't want that stuff showing up on my computer. So this is the extended not safe for work prompt. So you'll just kind of see that show up as default. And then we have here, we're using Madeline Petch is our celebrity that we're trying to mimic our character off of. And this is Mirabelle. She is a herbalist, and so I was pretty happy with this. Let me go with a couple other ones that I found. I actually had a great deal of luck as I kind of narrowed down the amount of, that's not cartoony enough for me. I was able to narrow down kind of the length of the prompt, and it felt like it started helping me create better images. Let me go to... Alright, so here's what you can do. You can send that to text to image. It'll actually bring in the seed for you, and it brings in all your prompt information. Usually it populates the image picture here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to throw this back into the system. We're going to bump this down. We're going to bump up the badge count to 5, and we're just going to see what we get. So let me go ahead and make sure that everything is showing up correctly. It is. All right, so you can see the images starting to display here on the right hand side. Have a nice vodka water going on in the background here, so forgive the ice cube rattling going on. All right, so what I'm hoping to do is start to pick up a little more on the direction of where the character's going, and then we will have the hardest part to do after that, which is trying to get character consistency. And I'm really stuck between a rock and a hard place right now because I'm waiting for this next version of Stable Diffusion to activate ControlNet. Right now, all of the images that I've been developing are out of Stable Diffusion XL, which allows you to create a 1024 by 1024 sized image, and it's also a whole model system, a checkpoint model system that's developed around creating better images. And unfortunately, a lot of the features that allow for consistency are within ControlNet. It's not working with SDXL yet. It's still working with standard Stable Diffusion 2.1 or 1.5, some of the more popular models. All right, so let's look here. Really happy with where the character's coming out, and I really like the cartoony elements of this. It's very much fitting our vibe. Hand turned out pretty good here. Not great here, but we could always take care of that in Photoshop. So I like the earrings. That's a nice added touch. Okay, I really like this one too. And we are getting, for real character consistency, you actually want the same outfit as well. But I think I like this one a lot. This one, we got a weird looking eyeball. We got a winker here. And I'm not very happy with the realistic view of the face. And the hands are awful. So this one's out for sure. Too realistic. Not a big fan of the dress either. Now, I like this one a lot. So really, I'm kind of torn between the first two images and this last image. So I think we have a lot of good stuff to build off of here. So what I'm going to try to do is see if we can get this to work. We're going to throw this into an older model. So again, we're going to downsize it to an older model, and we're going to try to get this to work with ControlNet to see what we can get. And it will give us slightly different fit and feel for our characters too. And so that's part of why I don't like this as much. All right. Let's just see as a demonstration. We're going to run one set here. Smaller batch count. Yeah, see, we got two characters showing up here. Not a fan of this. We're going to switch our model back to 512. We are certainly getting anime, but as you can tell, it's just a very different style than what we were getting before. So I may wait a little bit longer. And that often happens when you have models that are built for 512 by 512 and you throw them at 1024. They'll start to throw out like weird doubles on things. So first we're going to switch back to 512, which I clicked, and we're going to click generate again. We just the color system is just looking a lot different here as well. Yeah, the faces, as you can see, this is exactly pinpointing why I'm using Stable Diffusion XL. Just so much better on the first time around with your faces. So we are going to go back to probably what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to some battle scenes. And we are going to play the long game on getting our character images working. So we're going to send this one back to text to image. And what I'll probably do is create a poll and throw this up on Discord. Yes, safe for work, Zelf. Sticks. Your comments are making me laugh. I'm checking nervously behind me before I make any comments and reply. I believe I'm in the clear now. The Gen Zero, the better half, she was doing some painting, and I asked her to quiet down while I was doing podcasting tonight, and that did not go over well. All right, so let's create some battle images. What we want to work on is we want to create and I'll bring up Photoshop first and share with everyone what our current. Okay, so here's Photoshop. This is our current battle image that I have developed. This is with one of the old models, and as you can see, it has kind of an oil style painting fit and feel to it. And one of the things that Stable Diffusion is great at is creating kind of these picturesque views. One of the things that Stable Diffusion is awful at is giving you some blank space. And as we are a game based on the heroes and the characters here, I really want them to be front and center. And I want them to be, you're able to see what they're doing. We're not going to have any battle animations during kind of version 1 of what we're developing, but I want to make sure that you can see them and not get distracted by all the beautiful artwork in the background. And so because of that, it makes operating solely in Stable Diffusion very difficult. So I take things to Photoshop, then back to Stable Diffusion. I do this back and forth dance, and I found that it ends up being able to help you create this foreground, what we see here, where our heroes are stuck on a big mud pile, and that has been working out so far for me. But it is a lot of back and forth. I'm using Photoshop Beta right now, which also unlocks a lot of AI generative fill features, and so kind of like a combination of everything makes this really slick, smooth, and easy. So we are going for our cartoon art style. That's what we're going to be building. We are going to be in the forest for kind of chapter 1 here, where we're beyond the tutorial. Our heroes have left the castle. They are traveling to Alvarorn from the Sarendale Castle, and they are going through a forest. And so let's go ahead and start typing in our prompts to get to that forest. All right. I'm going to pull in an image that was working well for me earlier today. And right now I'm pulling my pictures in the background. I was kind of happy with how this one turned out. Oh, it's not showing through. Sorry, you get to see the small version of that picture. And let's make sure we're back on SDXL. Alright, so we're just going to generate this one again, and then we'll rework the prompt to do something fresh and fun. If you have any suggestions for the prompt, go ahead and throw those in now. So we are on a forest journey. We'll worry about figuring out the foreground later. So what do we want to see in our forest? And here I had a winding road and a broken down wagon. And so what ideas do you want to see? Okay, so here you can see this definitely fits the art style that I'm desiring a lot more. Let's go with a cabin in the woods while I'm getting some ideas here from YouTube chat. So We'll do that next, but a large forest will use dirt road. Let's get rid of the dirt road. I just said with I don't know if I want it to be a cozy cabin with a cabin, eerie cabin. Let's have spell check help me out. Eerie cabin. The woods with smoke coming out of the chimney. I'm not a good speller, as you can soon find out from watching this. We're not going to have anything in the foreground. Art style like a cartoon. Let's get rid of that extra space here before the comma. All right. So let's go ahead and try this out. We're going to bump this up to 5 images. And let's see what we get. Kind of excited for an eerie cabin. I mean, this is AI After Dark after all. I'll jump over to YouTube chat. Yes, Zelf, I have an adult beverage. That's right. You missed the very start of the stream. Got a vodka water with me right now. And I don't have Neindorf to distract everyone with his docile tones. And so you can hear my adult beverage rattling in the background. Worm369, yeah. Hi, brave man. Hey, Trade Room, welcome. Glad you can catch the stream. We are working on developing some AI art for the game that Neindorf, Skillet, and I are creating. And right now we're going for a cabin in the woods. Our first journey is going to be through the woods, and the game that we're building is going to complement DFK. And so you can have your DFK characters here. I'm really liking this last one. Okay, so let's see what we have here. This one, although an animated art style, just kind of way too just the style that I'm not going for. Okay, kind of like this one. The smokestack is probably a little too industrial, but that's something that we can fix later. I like that I already have a foreground here. I don't know about the windows, kind of some weird action. Let's go to the next one. I don't like the forest in the foreground. This looks really weird. We could probably take care of this, but it would take a long time to make this one work. The 2 chimneys is strange. All right, again, we have the forest here in the front. Not a big fan of this one. This one's a little darker than I like. Okay, so I really like image 2 here. I feel like we have a lot to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. And we're going to take this over into Photoshop. We're going to create a new layer. And I got to make sure I turn this on. Start yelling at me if I don't turn on Photoshop for you guys. My apologies. I'm still getting comfortable with switching back and forth. Alright, so we're creating a new layer. We want to put it under our heroes. And there they are, floating in space. Alright. Pretty good. Okay, I think like the cabin in the woods, we pay no mind to the rest of this. Cabin in the woods, I think that's the right size for it. And I really like the orange hues. You know, we got like a dusk situation happening here. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to see if we can get AI generative fill to work. So this is where I'm kind of using everything in combination. What I did here is I selected my image and then I did an inverse of that selection, and then I'm going to hit generate. And if I hit generate with no prompting, it should try to match the style of what I have. Now I'm probably going to get a lot of gunk here in the foreground. Yep, a lot of gunk. That's okay. That's something that we can work with. All right. I kind of like the water, but I don't know. I like the trees in this one. I like the trees in this one too. Okay, so we're going to work with this one, and we're going to try to do a regenerate fill again. We're just going to grab this section. I think I want to try to manually pull in some of this orange colored dirt here. I'm imagining the sun. Okay, that's way too realistic, but interesting. We don't want our heroes floating in water, though. Kind of a mud pile? I don't mind if the heroes are fighting in a mud pile. I would like this if I was building a portrait. That's really neat. I like that. I mean, that's fantastic. What a wonderful thing that AI art can do. I mean, the reflections aren't perfect, but it definitely gives you an eerie glow. So I don't really like anything here, so we're going to show you kind of just trying to go off the rails and just try to get this to work. So there's a few tools that I like to use, and my Photoshop skills are like beginner at best. Oh, here's what we have to do. We have to take our image, and we're going to put this all onto one layer. Okay, so I'm using the cloning tool right now, and it's not going to look great in version 1, and that's fine. We need to give AI kind of the general theme of what we're looking for, so I'm using the cloning tool. Alright, we're going to kind of take the forest in the background. Oh. Alright. Again, doesn't look great. That's fine. I took away too much forest there. Okay, so that gives us a nice foreground. Let's throw in our heroes. All right, so you can definitely see the heroes about ready to embark on their battle here with the enemies on this side. All right, so what we need to do is we need to take this and fix all of our texturing. It looks like garbage. Fix that right there. All right, so we don't want the heroes in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, save. We're going to export this, quick PNG. And we are going to go quick. All right. So now we're going to go jump back over to Stable Diffusion. We're going to go jump to image, and we're going to bring our image that we just modified in Photoshop. I got to find it. Half the battle. Okay, there we go. All right, so Photoshop. Now we don't have our prompt from before, so we're gonna need to copy and paste this in there. When you're doing image to image, you do benefit from having the prompt in there. Setting my default negative prompt here, and we're going to. I'm pretty happy with this model so far. So what I want to do, it's going to be a 1024 image. My batch count, I'm probably going to bump up to 4. And my denoising strength, this is how much randomization you want in the image that you're creating. If it's a 1, it's practically creating a brand new image. If it's a 0, it's practically doing, well, it's not practically, it's doing nothing else. And so let's try 5 and just see what that gets us. And we'll have some fun. All right, I'm going to bring up chat here. How has AI performed while streaming? I see Sir Worm asking. Yeah, I don't know. I only did this the one other night, and you'll see, I think I said last time with Stable Diffusion, iteration, iteration, iteration. I don't think I did a lot of Photoshop back and forth last time, so I'm excited to show you guys that part of the process. But I am not an expert by any stretch, and so you'll see me kind of stumble through things. But so far, it's been working all right. 2 chimneys, says Sticks Intern. That's strange. Yeah. Okay, I'll need Photoshop. Yeah, it's one of those that I feel like it's needed to get the job done for sure. Okay, I like where this is going. Okay, so you can see here how Stable Diffusion is starting to easily fix some of the problems we had. Now, here's where Photoshop, I think, is really going to pay some dividends, because we have some different house things going on, and I like parts of some pictures and I don't like parts of other pictures. So I like the covered porch. I think I like this covered porch the most, but we got this weird stuff going on in the foreground. Let me see. Can you see this? Yeah, all right. I just want it, when I'm zoomed in, I wanted to make sure everyone could see it. We got this weird tree thing going on here, and so we can take care of that. I like the texturing here. Probably could be better. Let's fix the tree, and then in Photoshop, and then let's try to send this in one more time. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy this image, pull up Photoshop. Here we go. Oh. Interesting. Oh. I'm not thinking straight here. I forgot that we created in a different... created in a different size. All right, so now the houses are really close together, which is good. I want this image on the bottom. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create a layer mask. And so I click this button here, create a layer mask. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go now, and I'm going to peel away parts of this image and replace it with what's behind it, which is this image right here. And as I look at this, I can see why I got confused about putting a tree there, because it looks like this shadow, or I don't know if it carried over when I was doing the clone effect, but it seems like that was the driver of what happened here. So let's try to fix those a little bit. And so as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm with this masking, I'm creating, I'm just allowing this initial picture to kind of blend through. When I get rid of the initial picture underneath, you can see that I'm kind of erasing things. I'm going to try using the cloning tool now. Let's see. And what I want to do, I'm going to narrow this in, and I want to take some of the tree here, and we're going to take that down. but I erased it. So, let's see what happens. All right. That did not work out good. We're better off with the weird shadow effect. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this, which we've modified a little bit. And we're going to send this back to Stable Diffusion. You know, we didn't get a lot of modification there. So let's try to turn the denoising strength down a little bit, because I'm starting to get pretty happy with this image. I guess it is better than what we have here on the right hand side, where we don't have a total weird tree, but I wasn't able to fix very much of that. AI art creation has been a lot of fun for me. Especially since I've always been someone who's wanted to draw well. I don't have that skill. Alright, so let's see what we have here for options. We have the 4. Oh, I like the smoke in the background of this one here. There's some eerie stuff going on. This one, adding a lot of texture to depth texturing, but I don't like how the tree here is showing up. So I think I like this one the best by far. This is looking excellent. Let's go bring this over into Photoshop, and let's make sure that I'm sharing my Photoshop screen with everyone. And here we go. We need to resize it. Okay. We're going to delete the other scenes that we had. And let's see how our characters look. Okay. So to get kind of a feel of realism here, our characters really look like they're in a pretty good spot. The house maybe looks a little too small for the characters, but I don't know what else I could do to add some distance elements there. One of the things you can always do to add distance, I like this tree here in the background, so let's try to work with this tree to see if we can put something right behind this last character to help denote that distance. So let's see. We're going to copy this tree, so we're going to take the cloning tool. And as you can see, helps me Alright, I love the distance that it created. I don't like how it got rid of some of that porch there. So here's what we're going to do. It's not going to let me do this. We're going to copy in that tree. Alright, now we're going to do the same masking technique that we did before. Alright, so we're going to throw on a mask. We're going to get out our brush. And we're going to brush away. Change this opacity. There we go. Now, I feel like that tree helps create some more depth that makes the house feel its size in comparison to the heroes. It feels a little farther away. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up, but that feels good for me. Now, I really like this smoke. I think I want some smoke in here, and now I am dangerously off the rails with AI After Dark. I have not played with AI smoke before. So, okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to make my primary image here. I need to merge these layers. Oh, you know what? We still have we still need to brush this out. You can still see our lines here. Okay, that's better. Now we can merge these layers together. And I want to take in some of this smoke. Maybe some of this smoke. I am still here. I'm just concentrating. I'm trying to make some smoke. All right, here's some smoke effects. So let's try to brush this in and see how this goes. Here I am again, dangerously off the rails with AI After Dark in terms of trying to do this live. All right, turn up my opacity. Definitely need to get rid of the edges. Those don't work at all. hard edges have to go. Okay, but I like how the smoke is kind of obscuring the trees a little bit. Merge that into one layer. All right. I like where that smoke's at. Let's draw up here and let's do some cloning. Just take some of that just real brightness out of that. And I think I'm going to try to brush out. So I'm going to turn my opacity down a lot. Oh, too much. Opacity needs to get turned down. Okay. I feel like we're starting to get some eerie trees, some smoke kind of coming through the clearing. We're going to merge these layers together. I'm pretty happy with them. And now when we throw in our heroes, voila, the house looks farther away. So that is a combat scene that we have now created for Niendorf. So now we say save. We export that. And that will be our kind of the end of AI After Dark. At least for what I wanted to have planned and done. Let's take some questions from anyone who stuck around through my really boring Photoshop. What power, from Eric Coolness, what power graphics card do you have for this? I bought a NVIDIA 4080, so not the 4090. I could not justify springing for that. 4090s are like more expensive than most computers. I got a 4080 and I have that in my rig right now that has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which allows Stable Diffusion to fly. If you had the 24 gigabytes of VRAM in the 4090, those things are super powerful and will probably never go obsolete. But I just could not, justify spending another like $800 on top of the price of the graphics card I already had. So, pretty happy with that. With the purchase that I made here, I've also been doing some gaming, some PC gaming lately. Been playing Armored Core. That's a lot of fun. Red Room Media. Hey, just about ready to close up shop here. Working on developing some AI artwork for the game that we have that we're building right now, and so trying to have some fun with this and creating some fun things here in the background. So as I'm looking at this on screen, I think I'm getting a little picky, and this is the Tortured Artist coming out. Let's see. Sorry, getting distracted. We're going to try to brush this out a little more now. There we go. The bright white smoke was just a little too strong. Now it's kind of eerily wafting here in the background. All right, so for those of you catching up late, my apologies as I get distracted here. Working on developing our game for our third-party developed game, and really exciting news. We are whitelisted to build on the DFK chain, which is awesome, and we're looking to get whitelisted on the raffle tickets as soon as possible. I thought that happened the last time that we did a podcast on Wednesday. We are getting very close. I think it's just a matter of Fox turning it on for us. We've agreed to a rate of which we can sell the tickets, and again, our raffle tickets. This actually, the battle scene that I'm creating here will go towards supporting our first raffle ticket mode. And so you're going to be able to wager raffle tickets, and we're going to try to make it competitive. Well, not try to. It will be competitive with duels. And so if you win duels 50% of the time, the raffle tickets that you get from entering into a duels match will be very comparable to what you can win when you enter into the ADFK randomized dungeon raffle ticket machine. So we're excited to release that to our testers, hopefully this week. I know it's going to be a short week with the holiday. Definitely the next week, if we don't have that done. This was a big part of the checklist that we had today, and then Neindorf was texting me throughout the day that he was getting through his checklist of items, because there's obviously a lot on the software side of things that we need to pull together as well. We have not really decided on, well, we're trying to, the way that we're going to approach the raffle ticket rate is we're hoping to create a, what we'll call par for the dungeon. And so in this dungeon, you're going through a forest, and you're going to have a few rooms, you're going to have baddies, you're going to have the mini boss, you're going to have a final boss, and we're going to state that par through the dungeon is, we'll call it 20 turns. And that includes all the turns that it takes you to fight the little guys, the mini boss, and the big boss. And at the end of those turns, if you lose a hero, that costs you, kind of like golf, it's like a handicap score, so then you get +5 to your turns if you end up losing a hero. And so that's how we're going to kind of create our grading and ranking system. Now, of course, that our initial set of par is going to be based on our best guess at what the difficulty of the dungeon that we're creating is. And we're essentially trying to create a normal curve. And that means that we want our average player to be able to achieve par. Our below average players, they will not be achieving par. Our above average players, they will be on the upper end of that curve, and they'll be earning more raffle tickets. And so this is where we're trying to create a split where par earns you the same amount of raffle tickets that you would get if you were winning duels, war, 9v9, if you were winning that 50% of the time. And so there is a chance to earn, there's a sliding scale there, and we're going to try to be a little aggressive with it, where our average on the high end, you really get a good payout. Our average on the low end, it's like better luck next time. Get good at the game, and we're going to try to dial that in. But that is a bit of a play testing guess. We'll really get to experiment quickly as we're going through the alpha mode. But once we release new seasons, we're going to do probably a battle season 1 month at a time, where par for the course might be 25 turns, and then the next season that we have a month later, we're going to do like a cave instead of a forest theme. And in the cave theme, we might make the bad guys harder. And in that one, par for that course will be 30 turns or 35 turns. So we'll just have to see where things go and where the development goes. And hopefully we get lots of feedback from, not just our playtesters now, but our playtesters in the future as well. All right, so I'm going to save this image, save, export it, and we'll have to make sure that we send this over to Neindorf, see what he says. jump over onto YouTube. Okay. Kupo in the house. Awesome. Distraction. Yes, that is me. No doubt. Red Room Media, love Photoshop. I would love to learn from you. I am not very good at Photoshop. Worm, is the cost to play the same scale as duels? Yes, that is what our goal is. And so kind of the way that we're trying to do it, actually same scale of duels, if you win 50% of the time on 9v9 duels, your raffle tickets effectively cost you, it's like 0.0, if I'm doing the math right, 0.011 crystal per raffle ticket is what you can earn if you're winning half of the time. Because you got to remember, you have your each side of the duel is paying towards it, and so there is more crystal going into the pot, and then one person comes away with a big payday and one person comes away with a really tiny payday. And so what we're trying to do is make the pot equivalent to, like, if you win duels 50% of the time, like, come here and you will get, it will scale to that. Okay, well, that is it for me tonight. I can't believe I've already gone on an hour. Neindorf wonders why it takes me so long to create AI art. And this is why, and it's still mediocre at best. So, any last questions that you might have out there, please feel free to send them my way. Again, for those of you who are joining here recently, I am going through a level up campaign in the game. So we are leveling up a whole bunch of heroes, and I really want an amulet. I did not get one the first time around. And what I'm doing is I bought a whole bunch of heroes that were level 11, 12, 13, 14, smashing them together, and then creating, leveling up all those dark summons, and then smashing them together and going on from there. So it is a bit of a process. I only have, I believe it's 3 days left on the level up challenge, which is fun. I'm glad they have challenges back in the mix. That's always exciting. At least it has been for me. So that's where I'm at with the game, and of course continuing to try to build more heroes with elite abilities. I feel like elite abilities are going to be very sought after, especially when you are level 20 and below in the combat when that releases. So that's what I've been working on building in the DFK realm side of things. Looking back at costing, Koopa saying came in late, had fun watching. Yeah, thank you for the kind words about offering additional gameplay to DFK. Really excited to release this. We have alpha testing going on right now. Kupo, I can't remember if you are an alpha tester. If you'd like to be, hit me up in the ADFK Discord, and we'd be happy to let you try things out. Oh, ends tomorrow, Sir Worm says. Okay, I gotta really get on my game. So, yikes. All right. Well, take care, everyone. I need to go summon. I have to go summon a lot now at this point. And I hope everyone has a great night.